And here we have an Autobot tank that's also a base. I guess it's a tank, even though it doesn't really have treads, it has tires. I don't know what it is. There's a big cannon, there's a couple of like missile launchery things on the side. It is definitely a lot more to it than what we're seeing here, and depending on where you come from in the world, you may have experienced a different pilot than the one we have here. Although the one we have here has also been updated recently in the Siege line, and as such, we're going to get a chance today to sort of look at something that I've been kind of harping on all along. If you've been following my coverage of these guys, I've said many times now that, you know what, the bases themselves stand the test of time and can really just be reissued, re-released, whatever you want to call it. But maybe the little Micromaster partners with them should be updated to like the Siege line versions. Well, in this case, we're going to see just how well a Siege Micromaster update interacts with the original G1 base. And we're also going to see how well all the other bases that we've looked at for the Autobot so far can interact with this kind of main one. We're ever more closing in toward the end of our coverage of the Autobot side of the Micromasters, and you know, I kind of believe you might as well go big or go home, and things don't get a whole lot bigger than this Autobot tank. The ATV, if you will. And it, along with the little Micromaster named Groundshaker, will be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot True review. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course subscribe, and while you're at it, that's right, hit that notification bell, man, because it lets you know when content of all kinds goes up here on the channel, and we do a lot of things around here. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, Transformers, Collectors, NL, and the Autobot family. And this is Groundshaker with the ATV, or if you live in Japan, this was released with a completely different set of stickers and a different pilot. The pilot was based on the Road Handler mold, and I think his name was Gunrunner. So completely different pilot. It's Autobots, even though in this case Groundshaker is based on the Whisper mold, and Whisper was a Decepticon. It's a weird little Micromaster, but it's a fantastic base. And very recently in the Siege Micromaster 10-pack, Groundshaker here was updated. And we're going to see just how well that update interacts with this original base. Is it even realistic? When I've been saying, hey, update the little Micromasters and just re-release the bases, man. Is that even a realistic option? Would it even make sense to potentially do that? Can the new Micromasters even interact with these bases? Well, let's head over to the table and find out. And this, of course, is the Micromaster rolling base known as the ATV base with Groundshaker. Now, to be fair, in Japan, this Autobot base was still an Autobot base, but came with a completely different set of stickers for the deco on it, and a new pilot. Instead of being Groundshaker, the vehicle was called Landshaker, and the pilot was called Gunrunner, and it was a reuse of the Road Handler mold. So, in Japan, the vehicle was called Landshaker, the pilot was called Gunrunner, and it was a car. In North America, the vehicle is just the Autobot ATV base, and the character is Groundshaker. That being said, I've been saying all along as we've been looking at these Micromaster bases that, you know what would be really nice? To have a like an updated version of the character, but keep the base. We're going to see exactly how that works, because if you've been paying attention, then you know that in the Siege 10-pack, which we looked at here on the channel in episode 576, we had an updated version of Groundshaker, and we're going to kind of use him in conjunction with this vehicle going forward. Taking him out of it, though, the original one, pretty straightforward. It is a reuse of the Whisper mold. It's basically green. He looks good. This is very good at being average. We can put down the arms. By the way, the arms can't go all the way around. They they can go pretty far, but not all the way around. Seated position, lower legs are one solid piece. So we put the arms down, we flip the nose cone down, it was the heels. We close that up and we have a little plane that actually has a really nice deco on it. I love the look of this thing. It rolls well if you want your plane to roll. And just for fun, here he is with his Siege updated counterpart. Naturally, of course, neither of these little guys is the main star. No, the main star is that huge tank. Now, whereas the G1 version of Groundshaker can barely see over the top of the cockpit, the Siege version is a little bit better and fares a little more, I don't know, proportionally. And what can I say? This looks really good. It rolls fine. It looks great. It's a nice tank. The cannon here can move up and down. I guess it can sort of turn, but like he gets in the way. I guess rockets, whatever on the side, they can turn because they're just pegged in, and that's really about it for this mode. Taking him out of it, this is heavy, very heavy. We have 6 tires, we have 2 that are the same size, 1 that's bigger on the back, and this thing naturally opens up to become a larger base. Okay, so it's time for us to get into the transformation, and I'm not even sure that I remember how this goes. I am impressed that it transforms, and I like what it transforms into, even though there is naturally, as one would likely expect, parts forming. For example, there's a couple of ramps. Now, I think the ramps that I have might be like KO ramps, but there's a couple of ramps that go used with this. By the way, I don't own this. This is on loan by a good friend of the channel, Wayne, so I appreciate him letting me take a look at this one as well. I love the base it turns into. I love that it is capable of interacting with other bases. So we're going to do our best here to kind of remember how this goes, and I'm going to hope that I can do it justice. We will see. I believe we begin by pulling this back so that we actually have some space to work. We take these off from the side as well, if I'm not mistaken. And we're just going to lay those to the side for now. Then we have to open up like the body here, and I feel like that's kind of tight. So yeah, we open that up. This is scary. These hinges are scary. I'm going to get the sides down because it is a little scary doing it. And this isn't mine, so I want to be careful with it. I'm going to get the sides down, and then we'll just sort of continue it from there. All these years later, and folding these 2 sides down is still a scary experience, man. I don't like it. Like, they actually, like, creak when you put them down, and that frightens me so much. We can take that and put it there, and take this and put it here. I tell you what, folding these sides down reminds me a lot of trying to unfold and fold back up the legs of, say, Generations Metroplex or Fortress Maximus. Like, it's fine, but you want to be careful with it because the plastic around the hinge, like, you don't want to crack it or break it. Okay, so then this piece here will fold out straight like that. This piece here can just stay up, and then this angles up. Okay, this angles up, and we actually have a couple of like little legs in here. So this angles up, and then these little legs slot into position right there like that. This is actually a landing pad, I suppose, for Groundshaker. Now, that being said, will this landing pad fit the Siege Groundshaker? I don't know, probably. Why wouldn't it? Yeah, you could put the Siege Groundshaker there. This cannon thing angles up. You could probably, if you wanted, push that back. There you go, because it's on a rail system, so you can also push it back. It rotates around in this mode, so it can move forward, back, rotate up. Like, it's very versatile defense cannon thing. In terms of the like attachable ramps. Actually, I don't think I have KO ramps. Now that I look at it, I think they're the actual ramps. This one goes over here. It cannot attach to any other ramps. The other one that attaches here on the front can attach to other bases. And it looks like this. I'm just going to back it up so we can see the whole thing in its glory. The transformation for the thing is fantastic. This particular copy, the two sides, you want to be careful folding them down. And I don't know if all of them were like it or not, but I know that this one is, so I wanted to be delicate with it. But you know what? It's a big base in the end, and it could accommodate many of the Micromasters. The coolest part is that it attaches to other bases. So you could end up having something, for example, that looks like this. Right now, for example, we have something that looks sort of like this. And you know what? In terms of bases that fit together, you know how much of a fan I am of those things. And we're not done yet. So at the end of the day, whether we use the updated Siege Groundshaker or the original, the base itself is still stellar to this very day. I love it. It's so versatile, so actually easy to transform even though I forgot about some stuff. It's an absolute win, and it's one of those great examples of a base from yesteryear that has held up through the test of time, and really the only thing it needs to still be an absolutely outstanding addition to anyone's collection might be, arguably, an updated figure, which we now have. What can I say? This is an absolute win for the Autobots. That being said, now that we've looked at this much of the Autobot bases, we're closing in and kind of cluing up the Autobot side of things. And while we don't quite have as much to do on the Decepticon side, there's still a couple of little tidbits of interest still to check out there as well. And here we are once again, and I love this thing. Now, yes, this particular copy, flipping down the two sides is a bit scary because it's still so tight. Perhaps that's a testament to all these years later, just how well constructed this was, that those joints are as tight as what they are. And while it makes me a little bit unnerved, especially since this doesn't belong to me, there's absolutely no stress mark, there's nothing wrong with it, they're just good, tight, solid joints. The little Micromaster, he's fine. However, the Siege Micromaster also interacts fantastically well, if not a little bit better with this set than the original. For example, we have the G1 in here, and he can barely see up over the edge of the tank piece here, ATV piece, whatever. But I find that when I put the Siege one in there, it fits better. As a base, this is so versatile, and it can have so many Micromasters man different parts of it, different stations of it. Even the big cannon here can move back and forth and turn around. The missile pod things, they can turn around. We can connect other bases to it. As you saw, we kind of really have like a community, like a Autobot Micromaster community. Makes me wonder, when I think back to my ultimate Autobot base that I think I last looked at during my review of the Wei Jiang Ultima Guard, long time ago, makes me wonder, how could these Micromaster bases potentially link up with those, or at least be integrated in a display? Who knows? Maybe we'll get an opportunity to see that. We do have a kind of a milestone number review coming up. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I dig this. Absolutely a 10 still all these years later. It's a fantastic toy. It rolls tremendously well. It makes for an excellent base. It looks fantastic. It's built well. There's nothing here not to like. Let me know what you think about this. Or if you have the Japanese version known as Landshaker. It's weird. Here in North America, as I mentioned in the review, it's the ATV with Groundshaker. In Japan, it was Landshaker was the vehicle, and the little pilot was Gunrunner. I don't know. Either one is fantastic in my eyes. Get both. Why not? Let me know what you think about this. You know I love to hear from you guys, and I appreciate you coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time, and I do know how very important it is to you. Please hit that subscribe button, man, if you haven't done so already. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, there is a donation link down in the description. And I very much look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams at the stop motion premieres or right here inside the videos.